The chronological Bible reading for April 22nd is in Psalms. We have a collection of Psalms. Psalm 6, 8 through 10, 14, 16, 19, and 21. Psalm 6 makes me wonder when David wrote this. Lord, don't rebuke me in your anger. Do not discipline me in your wrath. I wonder if this belongs in the section of 2 Samuel when David is fleeing from the castle in Jerusalem, when his son Absalom is trying to take over the reign of king. David had so much heartache. He went through so much, and a lot of it was his own doing. But we have these Psalms to see how David reacted, the one who was after God's own heart, how he reacted. And he didn't run from God, he ran to God, even when he sinned. God, forgive me. Please don't be angry with me. Don't rebuke me. Don't discipline me in your love. You see the picture of a toddler begging his mother, please don't spank me. I know I disobeyed. I know I did something wrong, but please don't spank me, Mama. I won't do it again. In just about 7 or 8 minutes, we don't have time to go through all of these Psalms in detail, but Psalm 8, I think, is worth highlighting at least for a moment. What is a human being that you remember him? A son of man that you look after him? You made him a little less than God. Some versions say a little lower than the angels. But the Hebrew word there is Elohim. And you crowned him with glory and honor. You made him ruler over the works of your hands and put everything under his feet. Oh, Yahweh, how magnificent is your name in all the earth. Did you know that we are heavenly beings? We are made above this realm, like we didn't come from this earth. The righteous, the called out ones, those who are seeking God and seeking truth and trying to be more like him, trying to be more loving, trying to be more righteous and holy and pure in all that we do. Those who care enough to read the Bible, much less watch videos or listen to podcasts about the Bible. These are the righteous ones who desire God ultimately. Yeah, we get dragged down into the things of this world. Sometimes we succumb to the temptations of the enemy, but we regret it. Ultimately, what we want is more of God. We are not like the wicked in Psalm 9, verse 17, that says, the wicked will return to Sheol. Your translation might say, hell, or the place of the dead. The wicked will return? Like, is that where they came from? The spiritually dead will return to the place from which they came? Hell? The place of the dead? Sheol? I looked up that word return to see what it means. And you know what it means? It means return, to turn back. God used this same word in the Holy Spirit inspired scriptures to speak when God said to Balaam, I want you to go back to Balak. You were talking with him. Here's a new word. Go back to him, return to him, and tell him this. The righteous ones are not from Sheol, but it seems as though the wicked are or were. And maybe it's a euphemism, maybe it's not, maybe it's a metaphor, and maybe it's not. But there's one thing we do know from experience. There are two kinds of people in this world. There are the people of God who want God, who desire the truth, the ones who hear Jesus when he speaks. He said, my sheep know my voice, they follow me. And there are people who don't. There are people who hate the truth, who place their hands over their ears because they don't want to hear the truth. Certainly, there are two different kinds of people in this world, and we all get to choose what kind of person we're going to be. And yet it seems in Psalm verse 19 that the people who don't choose God never will. Yes, we'll keep praying for them. Yes, we will keep loving them as much as we can with boundaries. And at the end of the day, God will be proven true in every circumstance. But Psalm 14:1 tells us, the fool says in his heart, there is no God. It could also be translated, the fool says in his heart, no God. Will you be a person who says yes to God, or one who is spiritually a fool? Psalm 19 says, the heavens declare the glory of God, and the expanse proclaims the work of his hands. An expanse is an extended surface. The root word in the Hebrew refers to something that is beaten or hammered out, the way a metal worker would create a shield, something strong, more wide than it is thin. Take a lump of metal, melt it down, hammer it out, and create a shield that can stop the arrows of the enemy. And here in Psalm 19, just like in Genesis 1, it says there's an expanse. Genesis 1, beginning in verse 6, says, then God said, let there be an expanse between the waters, separating the water from the water. So God made the expanse and separated the water under the expanse from the water above the expanse, and it was so. God called the expanse sky. Why is the sky blue? In the heavens, he has pitched a tent for the sun. It is like a bridegroom coming out from his home. It rejoices like an athlete running a course. It, the sun, rises from one end of the heavens and circles to the other end. The instruction of Yahweh is perfect. In our schools and through the media, we are led to believe that we are on a spinning ball hurtling through space, and it's all just a random set of coincidences. And yet, if you look at the surface of water, it is always flat, like a book. How does that work on a spinning ball? How does the expanse work on a spinning ball or any kind of a ball? Yet if you think of a tent and how God has spread out the expanse as a tent for the sun, perhaps nearly everything we've been told that's not independently verifiable is a lie. Perhaps we need to come out of the world system. Perhaps we need to question everything that we've been told that's not easily repeatable and duplicatable. That's when something is considered to be a law in science, is when you can replicate it, you can duplicate it. Jesus said Satan is the god of this age. Satan is continually trying to detract us from fulfilling the calling that God has placed on our lives. Let us prayerfully consider every decision we make, especially, most importantly, how we educate our children and how we support them to chase their dreams. And God bless you, my friends. Thank you for being on this journey with me. Thank you to those of you who joined in on Bio Live this past Sunday morning. It was beautiful what God did in our midst. What a privilege it is to disciple and be discipled in a group of people who love God. We'll see you tomorrow.